A good promoter is a good storyteller, nothing less. A fight that's huge has a story that the people loved. That is the only difference. It's stories. We were in the storytelling business. There's a boxer right now, but he's gonna try to make the team in wrestling. Hello. Guys, this is little Thero right here. He's getting ready for the Olympic Games, 2032.
I love to hear that.
Oh, what's up, Henry?
No, I don't know if you know my story, but I chose to move from Denmark to the United States, bring all my family. Like Henry say, I'm all in. And in my opinion as well, you know, one of the best to ever do it is you, Chael, promoting fights. And I guess my question would be, being an Olympian, what would your advice to me be?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you as candidly as I know how. Let me show you. They got plenty of guys named Mark, and they got plenty of guys with short hair. They got plenty of guys 4 and up. What they don't have, and that they even tried to use, was the Olympic status, and they didn't know how to use it. Because you being an Olympian is very relevant, which is, this is the mindset, and it's the only mindset you know, which is what's known as a competitive bracket. Mm-hmm. Whatever you say or you do, as long as you make weight and put your entry fee down the day before, you're going to have a place within this bracket. If you have more points than the other guy, when time runs out, they're going to move you to this spot. That's going to happen with somebody else, and that becomes your next opponent. It's called a competitive architecture. We don't have it with an MMA. I bring that to you because the Olympic thing is going to only go so far, and promoters are going to continue to tell. Promoters are going to continue to tell the world that we are buying the best. We are buying the best resumes. We're buying the best athletes. We're buying the most dangerous guys. They're going to continue to say that. Promoters will pay for one thing and one thing only, which is a story. If 2 guys have a story and there's a reason they're fighting, there's a value, I will pay, and I want that story. Rashad Evans did one. I love to tell this story, but Rashad Evans had a problem with a guy named Thiago Silva. And all that Thiago Silva did is he gave Rashad a look backstage. And Rashad said, I saw that look, and I know what it's about. And Rashad told him, he broke down a brief 1-second look and told him what you were saying. This is what you were saying to me in that look. You were saying that you could have done better. You were saying that you should have been in there with me. You were saying that I wanted to take it. And they went over to Thiago and said, hey man, Rashad thinks you gave him a look that was, and Thiago said, he's got it right. That's the exact look I gave him. They main evented that fight and sold out everyone. So these stories don't have to be the world's most complex. That's right. If one guy is really good, including undefeated, and he's even got an Olympic background, and he's even got Henry Cejudo in his corner, like that's a step in the right direction. Like you don't have to go down and sit down with the most complex story. We're not trying to work for NASA here. We're not trying to solve the homeless crisis. We're trying to tell a story as to why me competing with this guy matters, why it matters to me, why it matters to him, and why we think that you will care. And very few guys come in with a story. They talk about guys who are great promoters. Guys, what does that mean? They put up more billboards than the other guy? But as you're thinking this, and as you're dismissing this, and as you're saying, I wish I hadn't have asked those guys because it's just not for me. Okay, play another game with yourself. And think of a guy that had any level of gimmick, any level, no matter how small, that was on an undercard. Force yourself to think back. Bring in Bellator, One Championship, Ultimate Fighting Championship. Bring in these cards and go, okay, this guy did this, or this guy teased here, or this guy lit up a press conference, or this guy had a prop, or this guy, and he was the 3rd fight of the night. You won't be able to do it. All those guys with any level, I mean, Sean O'Malley's coloring his hair up, and he's the 3rd fight at the end of the night. The world champion Dominic Cruz jerked the curtain for him before they even went on television. That happened, whether you think it's right or not. I'm just offering a very recent example, like a guy with an angle that can get some people behind him, use and leverage social media, isn't doing something around the system. He's doing what Dana has encouraged guys to do. Best Christmas present you'll ever get in the UFC is going to come from Dana White. It's going to be a value of about $500, and he has to buy about $1,000. It's about $500,000 this man spends on Christmas presents. But one year, he sent us laptops, iBooks, iMacs, laptop it's called. What's the thing that you use? iPad. He sends us an iPad, but the next year he sends us a video camera that plugs into the iPad. So his whole thing that he's paying for, he's paying $500,000 time to, it's $1 million to give it to everybody so that we could start vlogging, which just means a video blog. Make a video of yourself and put it out, whether it's on Twitter, any kind of social media, Facebook's big. But he was trying to send a message of, hey guys, go out there and promote yourself. The guys that do and the guys that get over, right, excited and boring. I had that same thing. I never got labeled a Boulder Fighter. In fact, they gave me 3 times, they gave me Fight of the Night. And So another manager used that against me when they were dealing with a guy named Joe Silva. They said, well, wait a minute, you're giving Chael fight of the night. You're not saying Chael's born. We do the same thing that Chael does. And Joe told him the truth, and he simply said, Chael has another set of skills. Mm-hmm. And the guy understood it, and he let it go. Then I didn't have to live with the bridge of being a boring fighter. I brought in a lot of people. I did my part. I said something before I left. I mean, it wasn't a complicated recipe. It was just storytelling, which is 5 W's. Who, what, when, why, and where. If you're telling a story and you can include who, what, when, why, and where, you've now effectively told a story. And if you didn't, you haven't told your story. And if you don't have a story, it could be on the undercard.
Be vocal.
Oh, yeah, no, you got to be vocal. Got to be vocal, and you got to have some kind of an angle. It's the guy that's in the corner, quiet. He's going to get what he asked for, which is nothing. A good promoter is a good storyteller, nothing less. A fight that's huge has a story that the people loved. That is the only it's stories. We were in the storytelling business. Imagine he starts wearing his medals though. Oh. But Henry, he wasn't the champion. What if he either wears the gold medal, which is going to infuriate everybody that actually does, or what if he wears the silver? What if he advertises to, I'm the greatest ever, look at my silver medal. Nobody can beat, I've proved no man can beat me. No man alive has this but me. And it's for second. I'm just saying though, there's an angle there. That's funny. No. Who would advertise and claim to be the best while openly showing I was
100%. Everything that Chael is talking about, it's but you have to be okay with it.
Yep.
You have to be willing to be like being very carefree.